yinYangMountain mussing time. Yes. Surprise, yinYang! I am mussing on something you wrote. Shock, awe has gone through you, perhaps, because I'm doing this. Oh my god. Didn't suspect it. Didn't see it coming, did you? Maybe. I don't know. Alright. Yeah. Let me read this and muss on it. That's what this video is. And you know, maybe I'll get blown up. Maybe I'll stay around. I don't know. Anyways, okay. So he says, "Oh boy," quoting Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap, the good version of Quantum Leap, not the bad one. Anyways, this is in reference to the video "You Can Hate Something That's Not Real," where I told people to stop saying that the response when people say, theists will say, how come you hate God? God's not, if God isn't real. It's like, yeah. Anyways, he says, first, the topic you appear to be discussing has been exhaustively covered in philosophy, specifically by Bernard Russell and his student Ludwig, whatever, I can't read that name, reference analytic philosophy and logic. Russell explains the error in various lectures and his debates about God. He often references the ontological argument or explains why it's a simple matter of equivocation or bait and switch. In debate, he simply asks his opponent to explain what they mean. Consider the statements: you hate Santa Claus, comma, Santa Claus doesn't exist, comma, and how can you hate Santa Claus if Santa Claus doesn't exist or isn't real / isn't real? Okay. What Russell or whatever going to do first, they're going to ask the claimant for clarification. In the above statements or above sentences, what does the subject Santa Claus refer? What do we mean by real? What do we mean by exists? Given that, in what way are we suggesting that the subject, Santa Claus, is real or exists? I.e., in what way is Santa Claus real, and or in what way does Santa Claus exist? And someone whines, but I can hate Santa Claus. Using analytic philosophy, all Russell and whatever are asking about that claim is, how can I hate Santa Claus be true if the job of the name Santa Claus within a sentence is to refer? We might ponder what we think of somebody poisoning the well by suggesting Russell and W are just trolls, a good topic for a YouTube video? I don't know. Maybe. Here we are, doing the thing. So maybe it is a good topic. I'm not going to talk about the poisoning the well of them because, well, I mean, it doesn't matter if somebody poisons the well. They might be trolls or not trolling. It's irrelevant to the argument at hand. It's also, of course, that it's been written exhaustively or covered exhaustively by anybody. Also, doesn't really matter because it's a topic that, well, we talked about. I talked about. It's like, well, it's been talked about to death. Well, everything's been talked about to death. So that doesn't really matter. I didn't like my own video. What the bleep's wrong with me? Okay, there we go. And of course, not everybody knows that this has been done, or that it's been done by Bernard Russell, or this other guy, or where you can read about it. But good, we know that now. It's been covered in this book, and you can check that out and read that if you want to, or not. Okay, so they ask, what do you mean by what you're saying? What does that mean? And that can get frustrating. That could seem pedantic. It's like, hey, come on, what I mean when I say it's real or not real. Come on. Hey, Nerdy wrote it. There he goes. Of course, people can hate imaginary characters. Yes, I agree. Okay. What do you mean by real? Well, come on. Do I have to really explain to you? I mean, So it's kind of annoying. It feels frustrating to do that, but whatever. Okay, fine. By real, I mean you and I are real. Humans are real. I'm a person. You're a person listening to me. we are real in this universe. This universe is real, as something like that. Okay, and usually, you have to kind of reference something. Maybe like I'll say, okay, here's Nerdy Rodent, and he is a real person, but I also have to say, well, his name, his real name in real life is more than likely, I would dare say, probably not Nerdy Rodent. Maybe he changed his name to that. I don't know, but I doubt it. And more than likely in real life, he is not, in fact, a rodent. Shocking as that may be, but rodents typically do not have the ability to type YouTube comments nor make videos on YouTube where I don't understand how the bleepy is doing anything. And I'm like, hey, rodent, do a thing, do this thing. I have this like really complicated idea I want you to do. And I'm like, here's the idea. And then like he doesn't respond to the email because I don't know, whatever. It's just like, and I'm like, but rodent, do this thing for me. And he doesn't do it. Dave Stewart says his real name is Dave Stewart, but he's not a tab. He is not a crunched can of soda that is called tab. That so that's just that these are avatar names that we have selected. Deconverted Man as well. So Deconverted Man is not real, but I am. Well, what the hell does that mean? It's like, well, the name is real because it's not, but it is. But what do we mean? So it can get, you can get, down in the dirt with that whole thing, maybe, right? So the character or the name, the label, refers to an idea that we have agreed on. We've agreed Nerdy Rodent is the avatar name of this human. And we also agreed that the avatar, the picture, is a substitute for the human as well. Just like my little glowing head avatar is a substitute for my real face, which looks similar to it, but is not identical to it. We kind of have made these agreements with each other on the internet. So the avatar name is real, but the character isn't. At least not in the same sense that I, the human, am real, or in the same sense that Dave Stewart is real. So what do we mean then? Okay, because we're still back to using the same word, and that's not. Maybe I'm a simulated imaginary brain simulated. We'll get to that. Okay, so we're not getting anywhere because we're using the same word, right? We're saying real, and that doesn't help us. Okay. So I typically say object of the mind to try to clarify this. And something that's an object of the mind is real, but it's only in the mind. It doesn't exist anywhere except for the mind. That if there was no mind, then that thing wouldn't be anymore. It would not exist. Okay. And because I sometimes use MS Paint, I think I will use MS Paint to kind of get this, a little bit better clarified, perhaps. We'll see. So the idea, Deconverted Man, and then the real person, and because I'm not going to tell you guys my real name, I'm going to go with my fake internet name, which is a whole nother level, but let's just pretend that's my real name. you know, equals human person that is real. Right? Okay, so there's the actual, dude that's real out here, and the rest of us can all see them and interact with them and be like, "Hey, Dan Green, what's going on?" And you'll be like, "Yeah, I don't know, whatever, yeah, whatever." Yeah. So, but meanwhile, this is only there because I said it to you, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I got it." Yeah. But if nobody was there, then this isn't there because there's no anything, there's no mind to do it, and well, there's no person to do it either. So it's just there, right? It's gone. So it's kind of the classical, the tree falling in the woods and doesn't make a sound. Yes, it makes a sound because sound is a result of the thing falling down, and sound isn't dependent upon somebody to hear it, but the word sound is. In order to have that word, you need a person to create and utter that word. That word without people isn't a thing. But sound, the thing itself, is still a thing. Yeah, complicated, right? Yeah. So what I mean by real is objects that are not just in the mind, because technically you could say every object's in the mind, and yeah, I guess every object I look at is in my mind as well. But if you are a real person and you are out there, which I'm assuming that you are, then you too can look at the object that I'm looking at. We can both discuss it and say, okay, that's what it is, and that's what we're talking about. And so it is externally real to both of us. And that's what I mean by the word real. Whereas imaginary or fantasy is referring to something that is only in our mind's eye, if you will. So that's what we mean by real there, Bernard. Or did I say his name right now? Yeah. No, Bertard. Whatever. I just called him Bernard. That's not how you say his name. Russell. Let's say Russell. I can say that name without screwing up. Okay, so there you go. That's what I mean by real. Okay, all right. It's not made up. Okay, it's actually there. All right. So Santa Claus is a concept in the mind. Santa Claus is not a person, it is an idea. People can dress up like it, people can talk about it, draw it, make movies about it, but it's not an actual human entity that really exists in the same way that we've already established that non-objects of the mind exist. It exists as a concept, as an object of the mind, and that's it. It is fantasy. It is made up. It is imaginary. Okay? All right. How can you hate something that isn't? Well, you you can hate the concept because you can hate anything because emotions aren't bound by logic necessarily. Now, I guess if you're a neurologist, you could argue that there's a logical underpinning to emotion, that emotion X gets set off by series of events, whatever. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, what I mean by that is like, if I get upset at something, it doesn't always have to make sense that I'm upset at it. And I suppose I can only reference my own life, being anxious. something I experienced this sadly because of OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, which according to Stanford we need a different word for. Oh, never mind. That's a whole other subject, can of worms. Okay, if you saw my community tab, you'll know what I'm talking about. Stanford, the hell is wrong with it? Or was it Cambridge? Who was it? I don't know. Whoever it was, idiots. All right. Anyways, no, it's Stanford. I get anxious about something. And it's like, then I feel like I can't do it or that I have to do it. And if I don't, then like something bad will happen. And I know nothing will happen. I know that intellectually. But the emotion is like it's like it squishes down on you and you feel like you can't breathe and it's like you can't move and you can't, and it's like if you don't do it, then that it's like you think this will go on forever and ever, and if you do it, then it will be released and you'll be free, or vice versa. If you can't do something because it's making you anxious, so you just don't do it, and then you don't have to get anxious, and then it's like, okay, I don't have to deal with that emotion, and it's very difficult because intellectually you can understand that, yeah, nothing bad is going to happen. It's not real. It's not, doing this thing or checking the lock one more time. It was locked. I know it's locked, but I need to check it again. Why? Well, because my brain is telling me to do it. Why? Well, I don't know. Some sort of chemical in my brain is doing that. Okay, I understand all that. All right, fine. I'm not going to check it. I'm not going to do it. All right, fine, I'll do it. All right, I did it. Now it's gone. And you've given in, and it's one more time. That's not real, but my emotions don't care. My emotions don't care that it's not real. So that's what I mean when I say that you can have feelings about something that isn't real. Let's go back. Okay, so how can you hate something that isn't? Well, you hate it because it's in your head. So you can hate things that you think about. And you can hate things that are made up and fantasy. But of course, it does assume that you actually hate the thing in question. And that too is somewhat fallacious because maybe I don't hate it. You're assuming I hate it. And when it comes to God, I mean, I don't hate God. It's like, whatever. Some versions of God, I guess you could say I hate. But for the most part, I don't spend that sort of mental energy on it because I don't care. It's like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. So I don't know if that answers the question that yinYang posted. But there's my mussing on it, and I'm sure he'll tell me I'm wrong about everything. Which is fine. I like it. Really. I'm fine with that. What if I don't lock my car? Well, it happens, I guess. That it's a problem when, okay, so OCD is interfering with your life. That's when you know it's OCD. Is like you don't want to do the thing, but you find that you are compelled to do it because of a kind of this fear that if you don't do it, something bad will happen or whatever. This sort of feeling of dread. Of course, I guess it's a little bit different for everybody, but that's kind of the broad version of that. So you find that you're checking to make sure that you locked your car more than once. It's like, okay, it's locked. Did I lock it? Okay, it's locked. Okay, I got to check it again. It's like and unless you're suffering from memory loss, that's a whole other thing. You write a note. Yes, I checked my car. I know it's locked. You go, oh, there's a note. Okay, yeah. But yeah, it's no fun. I tell you that. OCD, I would not recommend it. It is not a fun thing to deal with, and it's not logical. And yet it's there. It is. So I think that you can very well hate or love or have any emotion towards anything at all or nothing, because it's not necessarily pinned to any sort of coherent logic in terms of non-neurological function that I don't know enough about to comment on. So, maybe a neurologist could explain, to somebody why you hate something that you don't believe is real. I don't know. I'm not that. I'm not an expert in that. All right. So, what do you think about this? Maybe you have your own thoughts on what yinYang wrote. Maybe you disagree with what my mussings here. Maybe you agree. I don't know. Let me know. And thanks for listening and commenting in the chat, which won't show up on YouTube because I don't know. YouTube's bleeping broken again. I don't know what's going on with it. And I think I'm gonna steal Nardwar's way of closing interviews and just say do 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 do. And you're supposed to say do do, but I can't hear you, so I guess stealing his outro doesn't really work. Bye.